So I'm not really sure who needs to hear this, but I wanted to remind you that it is not your obligation nor your responsibility to allow someone else to mistreat you as a result of them being unable to heal their unhealed wounds. Today we're going to talk about a list of things that you should keep your eyes open for, because a lot of people are, instead of healing themselves, they're projecting and actually getting a little bit better at making people think that they're the ones to blame, when in reality your heart is super open and it's the person that is pointing the finger that you need to maybe readjust in your life. And if someone in your life is making you feel less than worthy, loved, worthy to exist, then it's time to remove that from your life. Again. Hey there, and welcome to Clarity Couture. I'm Lindsay, and thank you so much for taking the time to be here and be present with me. I appreciate you, truly. So today we're going to talk about something that may be extremely triggering for some of you, and that's because when we're made aware of something as intense and pushed under the rug as emotional abuse is, when it's brought up and put to the forefront, a lot of those who have had issues with it or have issues being the one giving it have a really hard time addressing it. And the need to be able to address it isn't so someone can remind you of what happened, but it's so you can heal it. Because if you think about it, if you're unable to talk with somebody that you trust about something that truly just made your life harder to a point where it's almost like PTSD for you, and you can't talk to someone that you trust about it, and you lose your shit like that, think about how that would play out with someone else that you don't trust, with someone else that maybe you don't like. And if you have a mental capability of dropping everything and immediately reacting in a negative and derogatory way towards whatever it is because that trigger was brought up, then you, my friend, are always going to be controlled by something outside of you. And as triggering as this is for so many people to hear it, you need to get a ring on that. And I'm not saying this to be mean or to be hurtful, because I'm definitely not negating the fact that things have happened that cause you to feel that way. But the first step of healing that is allowing yourself to feel what it is you need to heal. So if you can't get into a safe space with someone that you trust to talk about it, then you've already kind of lost that battle, in that whatever it is triggering you has won. So if it's a person, a place, a thing, a memory that you just, whatever you do, won't go back to, and anything that reminds you of that memory you stay away from, you haven't healed it. You've put a band-aid over a bullet wound, and that causes so many other problems. So we're only going to talk about the 20 signs of emotional abuse today, and the only reason that we're going to do this is because a lot of us are living with people that we consider our humans, our go-to humans, but we're also seeing behavior that we hadn't really seen before. This is the first time any of us have been quarantined in a house with someone else for a long period of time. So if that's something that you're now seeing, it's not that you're just going crazy. You may just finally be seeing someone for who they truly are. I remember going on trips with models and us being gone for 8 to 10 days at a time at a resort. And, the first 5 days were cool. But after that day 5, people started showing who they truly were. And it's not something, a facade isn't something that you can keep up. So if there are 2 people in a house that just have been acting like things are cool, well, eventually that's going to boil over. So today we're going to talk about 20 warning signs. You ready? All right. So number 1 would be humiliating or embarrassing you. Like, repeatedly we're bringing up that one time back in the day when you tried to cook and you burned everything. It was like 5 years ago when you were first learning to cook. You've obviously learned how to cook since then, but they will always go back to that one mistake you made by humiliating or embarrassing you for that, for living, for learning, for experiencing. Number 2 would be put-downs and mean jokes. I think I said to somebody like, oh, it would be really awesome if I get all the sales. And someone responded with, well, wouldn't that be great? Or I'll pray and I hope. But it wasn't in a way that was like loving. It was putting me down. It was being intentionally hurtful so that they could keep the upper hand, so that it was a reminder that they do better at sales. And number 3 would be hypercriticism. So hypercriticism is like you literally just made an entire spread. Like, everything's amazing. You made it for your partner, everything's great. And they get home and they ignore the entire spread and they look at the kitchen and they go, will look at the mess you made in the kitchen. Whoa. Talk about hypercriticism. Talk about no gratitude. Talk about, are you feeling ungrateful for the fact that someone cares enough about you to do something like that for you? Hypercriticism. Number 4 would be one of the most used of all of the ways to emotionally abuse someone, and that is refusing to communicate. It's very childish. It's probably one of the things that I've had personally happen to me so much in my life that if anyone were to try to bring that to me now, they immediately get cut off. I don't allow it. I don't even make excuses for it. As a Libra sun and moon, I used to allow it. I used to let someone come back over and over and over and over and over again, stepping on me, stepping on my love and my care for them, not realizing that I was actually teaching them to treat me that way because I kept allowing it. So if someone refuses to communicate with you, I mean, like, just won't open up, and it's to the point where when you're trying to communicate, they use put-downs and mean jokes, they humiliate or embarrass you, they just refuse to communicate, or they find something to be hyper critical about, walk away, because that's someone that's not going to get any better. They're going to continue doing it because they know that they can do it to you. And that's the biggest issue here, and that's what I'm trying to really reiterate to you guys, is if you've allowed it once, it will happen again. It's like that saying, once you let them slide a little bit, they'll start skating. You gotta chill. And when it comes to your self-respect and your love for yourself, no one slides. Not even a little bit. There's no budge. Ever. There can't be. Because if there is, they'll take advantage of it every single time. It's an energy. People pick up on when you care for them more than you care for yourself. It's very needy. It's a needy energy. Number 5 is ignoring or excluding you from things where you would normally be included, right? So I've mentioned on here before that I have a mother that is like this. It's very emotionally abusive, that literally has pulled every one of these tricks in the book. And I don't say this to throw her under the bus. The reason that I share this is because I want people to know firsthand, yes, I know exactly what you've dealt with. So a lot of times I get, okay, but it wasn't your mom, or it wasn't your dad, or it wasn't the person closest to you. Yeah, for me it was my whole life. So that's why I'm able to call this out. That's why I immediately turn on it's a switch for me. There's an immediate switch. I step into my masculine energy and you can't fuck with me. No, she's not home right now. Are you trying to find the feminine, Lindsay? No, she's napping. She's napping. Yeah, she doesn't do fuck shit, but I do. What's up? And it sucks having to have been raised that way, but at the same level, it makes me a voice for so many others who are so unable to do that for themselves right now. And I will forever be that person. I will forever be the one that stands up and says this isn't right, and I will stand in my power if I'm the only one standing there. I don't need any validation from a crowd, because 9 times out of 10, the crowds are following the loudest person, and I am always the loudest person, and I always stand up for what's right. So why would I care if anybody followed me if what I'm talking about that I know within my soul is right? I don't. So another thing that people will do for emotional abuse is that they'll use sarcasm. They'll play it off like it's a joke, and they'll have like an unpleasant tone of voice. Like, I've had people that'll, oh yeah, ugh, literally while I was crying, like putting my heart and soul out there. Oh, look at her cry. A grown man, by the way. That is behavior that's just slow clap. Slow clap. I mean, what do you do with that? That's slow clap behavior. That's unfortunate that you can't see beyond your nose to see that someone else is trying to connect with you on an emotional level, and you have no emotional maturity at all, and that's what you do. So if that's someone you're watching and that's you, you were definitely meant to see this video. This isn't going to be one where I'm going to sugarcoat it, because I'm really sick of seeing this behavior of people being emotionally abused by people that they genuinely care about, family, friends, their significant others, whoever the fuck it is that's doing it to you in your life. Or if you're doing it, stop. Because what it does is it creates a perpetual timeline for this person. And anytime someone else may do something that you've done perpetually over and over again, it triggers them into a literal post-traumatic syndrome disorder. They literally go into PTSD. They go into these revolving ideas. So for me, growing up, I always had the lack of stability. So there was always a struggle for me finding that stability and not having someone rip it out from under me. That was my end all be all, non-negotiable. No one else is going to pay for anything for me. No one else is going to take care of me. That way no one else can do anything and push me out. Number 7, unreasonable jealousy, using false accusations, like just all over the place. Like, I know that you were talking to Jezebel. What was that commercial where it's like the guy is like the insurance guy and the wife's freaking out, like, well, what is she wearing? And he's like, khakis. You know, like, that is a perfect example of that. Number 8, extreme moodiness, up and down and up and down and up and down, to the point where no matter what you do, like, you're afraid to speak or talk or voice your opinion or just anything because you're always walking on eggshells. Number 9, domination and control. I think that this kind of sums up all the other ones that I just listed off to you, but honestly, the domination and control, the need for control, goes down to all the way down to, well, hey, we went to steak for dinner. I don't even eat meat. Steak for dinner last week. Maybe we can go to tacos this week. And they're like, no, we have to go to steak every Wednesday. Just very controlling. No ability to let anyone else come in. No open-mindedness. And it has nothing to do with whatever anyone may be talking about. Just need the control. That's another form of emotional abuse. Another one is monitoring, like, your calls, your emails, your texts, in your phone, hacking your computer. That's a type of abuse that just also almost goes into sociopath tendencies, where you're just like, maybe you should be worried for your safety, because that's not someone that cares for you in a way that is worried. It's about control. It's about domination over you. And someone that will go through your things or through your phone or through your purse or through whatever to get information is someone that will push any boundary. So if they'll break that boundary, which most people wouldn't, what other boundaries would they break? How far would they go? And that's what you really have to ask yourself. Anyone that's doing any of this is not of sound mind, okay? They're not emotionally mature enough to deal with their own stuff. That's why they're dealing with you and projecting it onto you any way they can. That's why they do the emotional abuse. They were to look inside and look at themselves. Oh, well, that's scary. We don't want to go there. Another sign of emotional abuse is constantly calling or texting when they aren't with you or you aren't with them. And I have been this girl. I've definitely been this girl. Italian, German. And yeah, you know, I had a preconceived notion on how men were. And so my preconceived notions, my narratives about how all men were, like I've met all the billions of men in this world, I truly believed that. So I would manifest situations that would prove that to me. When in reality, no, you get what you are. So I would put out that vibration of the same thing I didn't want, not realizing that that's what I was doing, not realizing that I was a source creator. And so it was always needing to know where they were, needing to know what they were doing. Now, there's definitely a difference between someone blowing you up nonstop, or somebody that sends a message multiple times and you read them, they know that you've read them, and you just don't respond. You're an asshole. Like, I don't know how else to say that. As a Libra, sun and moon, that's just dick. That's just a dick move. And if you have someone in your life that you care about, you won't do that to them. So ignoring them, or like, oh, well, I was busy. Okay, so you have the time. You have the time to pick up the phone. You have the time to read the message. Because what I do as a coach, if I see a message from someone and I am not able to get to the message right away, I will respond to them. Hey, can't get to this right now. I'm going to come right back to it as soon as I can. Most people that I work with anyway. Cool, awesome, thanks. If it's someone in my personal life and I'm busy working or I'm doing something else, I won't even open the message. I won't even read it because I'll forget about it later. So I'll just leave it there as the little notification on showing me that there's a message I need to read. So when someone gives you this, oh, well, I sent you a billion messages and you didn't text back, you really need to be able to decipher. Are you somebody who never responds and you're actually a dick? Or are they going overboard and you respond every single time, really giving your energy and your time? And it isn't just an okay or cool, you know? There is an energy behind that. And a lot of people who play these emotional tricks, they play on the phones the most. That's their favorite. That's their literal go-to. Why? Because you've always got your phone in front of you, and the majority of people around you always have their phone in front of you, and they know that you know that. So that's a psychological way to control somebody. It's really funny. I was having a conversation with somebody who said, no, I know psychology. Okay. You know how to psychologically control people around you, but the minute that someone psychologically controls you, you lose your shit. If you can't control your own mind, you will never be able to successfully control someone else's mind. You may be able to get them to do something like this or like that, or, you know, your ego tells you that you've gotten them to do things. But you really need to reevaluate the fact that all you care about is your ego proving to you what they're doing. And it's pretty sad to me to see people that are doing this and how old these people are. It's like you are literally all 10 years from a midlife crisis and you're acting like you just got out of high school. So it's not hard to see where you were emotionally stunted. Like I said, I'm pulling no punches in this video, and I really don't care if people get triggered because this needs to be fucking said. And it's just ridiculous that it's got to be at this level where it's got to be kind of like, I don't know, you might feel a little attacked, you know? You might feel a little attacked, and sorry that it came out this way, but I can't stand by and watch this happening to people anymore, especially when I know personally people that this is happening to, and personally people that are doing this. And I know that all these people watch my videos. So this is my nice way to like just kind of open your eyes to the fact that, listen, like, you're either being emotionally controlled by someone who knows what they're doing, or you're doing the emotionally controlling, and it's an old paradigm. It's for the birds, and it doesn't need to happen. Another big one that I have dealt with personally my entire life is people withdrawing their affection, right? Like not saying I love you when they're upset, or just hanging up, or when you're on the phone and you're like, okay, I love you, they just click, you know, they won't say I love you, or there's a literally withdrawing of affection. If anyone does that to you, family member, friend, significant other, separate yourself from them because they don't love themselves. It has nothing to do with you. It has literally nothing to do with you. You're amazing. You're a great human. They can't stand themselves. So that's why they do that. It makes them feel better. It makes them feel like they've got power over something because they don't have power over the way that they feel about themselves. They don't have power over how badly they feel about themselves day in and day out. But you know what they do have power over? Making you feel like shit. So be careful and be wary and be diligent in your self-love because no one else is going to be that for you. You have to be that for you. We aren't in a Disney movie. This isn't a fairy tale, okay? The Prince Charming in our world, listen, all right, I'm not gonna put that out there. All I'm gonna say is, what do you feel when you watch a Disney movie? Bullshit, right? Why is that? So when you are aware of what you've allowed into your life, then you can go, oh wow, so maybe it wasn't bullshit. Maybe I like bullshit. Maybe I just attract bullshit. But when you see that it's not actually life, it's the choices that you're making to allow these things to happen to you, then you go, oh, okay. And when you finally get sick of it, it isn't going to be like, it took me 25 years to change. Like Tony Robbins says, it takes 1 minute, 1 second, 1 split second to decide from where you are is not where you want to be, and decide right then that you want to change. It's that fear leading up to the change that stops you. That fear is lying to you. That fear, i.e. your ego, is telling you all these things that you can't do, all the things that will go wrong. If it doesn't make you feel good when you're thinking about it, if it makes you feel bad, if it makes you feel worried, that's fear. That's a lie. That is something that has been conditioned into your being. And the reason that it doesn't feel good is because your higher self, your oversoul, you personally, in the depths of your soul, know that that doesn't align with you. That's why it physically churns your stomach. That is just, it's almost like a red beep, beep, beep going off, okay? Because if you're thinking about your body as a big old computer, right? And then your body is the vehicle for your soul driving it. It's like your soul is beeping the horn, letting you know that that isn't for you, and that's why it feels so terrible. So another thing people that are really good with emotional abuse is they love guilt trips. Oh boy, they're good at guilt trips. You will have a whole sheet printed out about things that you were going to talk to them about. And by the end of that, you are literally looking at the sheet going, these were all valid reasons, but for whatever reason, I'm the one to blame and I feel really guilty right now. Wow, they're good at what they do. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Oh, yeah, we don't like that. We don't like that. And I want you to be wary of that because people that guilt trip you, they're not doing it for your growth. They're not doing it to make you feel better. They're doing it because they feel bad and they want you to feel bad like they do.
Mic drop.
All right, another thing that people do is they'll isolate you from your friends and your family, like literally not let you be around your friends and family. And sometimes this is actually family that does this. I think any of us who have dealt with a parent or a parental who had emotional abuse problems towards you, you know that that's something that was a power play for them. Get you alone, get you on your own, make you feel that you're this big, keep anyone away from you that may give you love so that they can get the power, get the power, get the power, get the power, because the more power they get from you, the more energy they get from you. It's like an energetic vampire. These people are energetically taking your energy, taking your happiness because you're consenting. You're allowing them to. Another thing that people who are emotionally abusive do is they ignore your feelings. Like you can literally say, when you do this, this triggers me and it makes me feel really terrible. And you've sat down, had total like face-to-face conversation with them, you've told them about it, and yet every time they're upset with you, they do that one thing that you've told them from your heart and soul upsets you. Wow, that one just falls all the way down the emotional abuse tree. Like, that's a fave for a lot of them. So, another one is destroying and threatening your possessions. Yeah, emotional abuse 101. Oh, yeah, you can leave the house. It's fine. Your stuff won't be here when you get back. That's cool. I'll just sell all your shit. That's cool. I'm just going to give all your shit away. Emotional abuse. It gives you a feeling of not feeling safe to leave and not feeling safe to be there. Emotional abuse. Another thing that is emotionally abusive is if somebody has money over you or they're using money to control you. If you don't do what I say, I won't pay your phone bill, when you're in like a tight spot, or like, I'm not going to give you any gas to get to work if you don't clean the dishes. Like really, really fucking petty shit. You got to be wary of it because if it happens a lot, you're not aware. It's just normal. Like you genuinely think life is supposed to be like that. And I'm here to tell you that life is not supposed to be like that. That is not how humans treat humans, not loving humans. Okay? That's not how we treat the humans we love. That's just not that's not what you do. Another one would be pressuring you for sex. Like, this is obviously not a family thing. Well, not going to get into it. But mostly for partners and stuff, they'll pressure you for sex or, threaten to kill themselves if you leave. These are pretty extreme, but not unheard of. All of these are very intense psychological forms of mental abuse that will cause PTSD if done over and over and over and over again. Now, I'm speaking from experience of being a child that was raised around that with someone who my main parental form was like that with me. I still to this day struggle with things. There are still to this day people that I won't even try to be around because I know that that would bring out a part of me that I've fought very hard to help heal. But with PTSD, if you have been through these things over and over and over and over again, it's very easy to go back into that switch of fight or flight. So this is why I want to bring these up so that if this is happening to anyone, you can be aware of it and you can make it something that doesn't work against you, but that actually works for you. Okay, guys, so today's affirmation is going to be, where my focus goes, my energy grows. Where my focus goes, my energy grows. Where my focus goes, my energy grows. Remember that where your focus goes creates an energy and it grows towards that focus. All right. So you can make or break anything in your life based on what you're focusing on. I want to remind you that your body is a vehicle for your soul. It is so important to drive yourselves well, my friends. And remember, I am still accepting content creators up till June 11th for the beta program. All right. And once that date is passed, then the beta program price is gone forever. So don't miss out on that. This is growth that you will literally love. I promise you. All right, guys. I love you. Remember to drive yourselves well. Namaste.